Have you ever wondered what early experiences in our national hero's childhood influenced his passion for learning and love of his country? Good day, everyone. Today we're going to talk about the life of Jose Protasio Rizal Mercado y Alonso Rialonda, famously known as Dr. Jose Rizal. Jose Rizal, a Filipino nationalist, writer, and polymath, is a revered figure in Philippine history, considered the country's national hero. In June 19, 1861, Jose Rizal was born to Francisco Rizal Mercado and Chidora Alonso Rialonda, the seventh child among nine. His siblings were Saturnina, Pasiano, Narcisa, Olympia, Lucia, Maria, Concepcion, Josefa, Trinidad, and Soledad. He was baptized by the Roman Catholic Church in June 22, 1861, in his hometown of Calamba, Laguna by the parish priest Reverend Rufino Colantes. In June 1868, Jose Rizal left his hometown for the first time with his father through sea, where they visited Cainta, Taytay, and Antipolo, and then La Concordia College, Manila, where the eldest sister Saturnina studied at.
June 1869. Jose Rizal arrived at his aunt's house in Binyan, alongside with his brother Pasiano, in order to further his education. Under Maestro Justiniano Aquino Cruz, Rizal continued studying Latin and Spanish, while also furthering artistic pursuits such as painting and wrestling. December 1870. Jose Rizal left his aunt's house in Binyan, back to his hometown of Calamba, where he makes preparation to study for Manila. He also made first contact with a steamer. June 10, 1872. Amidst his mother's trial, Jose Rizal and Jacinto reached Manila and prepared university enrollment. Convinced by Dr. Manuel Ceres Burgos, a nephew of ill-fated Padre Burgos, Father Magin Fernando of Ateneo Municipal accepted his late enrollment. Given the social leadership of Imperior among his dedicated group, Rizal excelled in academic, Spanish, and fencing. March 23, 1877. At the age of 16, Jose Rizal earned with high honors a degree in Bachelor of Arts.
Next is Rizal's early influences. The first one who influenced Rizal from his childhood is his mother, Teodora Alonso Rialonda, which is also his first teacher. Then the tutors founded by his father, which are Maestro Celestino, Maestro Lucas, and Leon Monroy, who taught him the fundamentals of Latin. While from his mother's side, which are his uncles, Jose Alberto, who taught him painting, sketching, and sculpting. Then Manuel Alberto developed his physical skills through martial arts, while his uncle Gregorio Mercado influenced his work is for ethnic and love for literature. From a young age, Rizal displayed exceptional intellectual abilities and keen interest in reading and writing. He was curious about the world around him and showed talent in various areas, including poetry, arts, and languages. His early education was influenced by his family and local teachers, and he was often described as a bright and inquisitive child. While Rizal's childhood talent included fluency in multiple languages such as Tagalog, Spanish, and Latin, which he learned early on. He was also fond of drawing and had a natural flair for the arts. And these early influences and talents laid the foundation for his later achievements as a scholar, writer, and reform advocate.
While those who will later be known as the Rizal family were considered one of the wealthier houses within Laguna, their status did not spare them from the injustices laid upon by the Spaniards. Growing up, Rizal would visit his father's cottage and bear witness to the Spanish Civil Guard making shore on Laguna Beach, where they would interact with the villagers, trade goods, and discipline their perceived inferiority. The abuse would eventually reach his household and target his father, a homeowner of 2 houses and 2 businesses. The details follow, starting with a turkey epidemic resulting in a missed quota and increasing the rent of the land. Then another exponential increase due to a presence of the second business, sugar production, and eventually by the word of the civil guards who frequently brought the man's turkey, the Calamba estate, and a court hearing, eviction was noted for both land and machinery. But his father was not the only parent victimized by the authorities. A prime example of Spanish corruption and brutality can be observed from the roots of a domestic incident. Jose Alberto, the uncle who led the younger Jose into the arts, had an incident with his wife that led to her accusing Alberto and his sister Yolanda for an attempted poison. This led to an arduous 2.5-year defense led by her attorneys Francisco de Marcaida and Manuel Masigan, as well as an additional plea to the judge by young Soledad Rizal. Within these years followed, an immediate jailing in the penitentiary held 50 kilometers away in Santa Cruz, denied access to vehicular travel during prison escort, an incident involving meeting a friend in Santa Cruz that led to him being assaulted by the judge, the counter case that led to her being charged with contempt of court, was coerced by law enforcement into pleading guilty, and was going blind while both her sons left for college.
Rizal's joy and sorrows of his childhood dates way back when he was young in Calamba. Rizal was raised in a Catholic household where his family actively prays and attends church mass on Sundays. He always enjoyed fiestas, church gatherings, and activities within his community. His writings later showed that even though he questioned the abuses of the friars, he remained respectful to his faith and his religion. At a young age, he began to show early artistic talents and did drawing, sculpting, fine arts, and especially writing poems. Despite being serious with his studies, Rizal was always cheerful, playful, and family-oriented. Rizal's first experiences of sorrow began when he was 4 years old. His sister, Concepcion Rizal, also known as Concha, died of sickness at a young age of 3. She was the 8th child in their family and was the younger sister of Rizal. Later on his childhood, his mother, Teodora Alonso, was unjustly imprisoned for 2.5 years in 1871 due to a false accusation of poisoning her brother's wife. This was the time when Rizal first sensed injustice and realizing that the authorities were abusive under the Spanish rule.
Jose Rizal was born on June 19, 1861 in Calamba, Laguna. He was the 7th child of Francisco Mercado and Teodora Alonso. Even as a young boy, Rizal showed remarkable intelligence and a deep love for learning. His very first teacher was his mother, who patiently guided him in reading, writing, and prayers. This strong foundation nurtured not only his intellect but also his values. At an early age, Rizal already displayed extraordinary talents. He wrote poems, expressed himself through art, and showed a passion for knowledge that stood out from his peers. These gifts were not only natural abilities, but also the result of encouragement from his nurturing family, who recognized his potential and supported his education. However, Rizal's childhood was not free from hardship. He witnessed injustices in society, and one of the most painful moments he experienced was the unjust imprisonment of his mother. This left a lasting impact on him. It opened his eyes to the harsh realities faced by many Filipinos under the Spanish rule, and it stirred within him a strong sense of justice and empathy for others. These early experiences shaped his love for the country and his dream of freedom for the Filipino people. Rizal's upbringing combined knowledge, creativity, and compassion with a burning desire to fight against oppression. In summary, the childhood of Rizal was not just about growing up in a happy and supportive family. It was also about witnessing injustice and turning that pain into purpose. His intelligence, artistic talents, and strong values laid the foundation for the national hero we remember today.